Hello everybody, welcome to my channel and welcome to my basement. I've got something to show you and it's just over there. For the last 9 months I've been building up a little workshop in the basement, and I've also made a CNC plasma cutter. But before I show you around, I wanted to say something about me. Well, I'm a 19-year-old student and I've just finished my apprenticeship. Now I'm basically an industrial mechanic, but I've decided not to go to work, but I wanted to go to school again. And in September I will start a school in Balingen, the Technische Oberschule, to make the Fachhochschulreife or the Hochschulreife. That's basically you have to have this much school education to be accepted to college. Maybe you'll ask, why am I making this channel? I'm asking why not. I've got a little basement workshop and I have a lot of fun down here, and I just want to share some stuff that I built. And the other question might be, why is this called the Crazy German Engineer? Well, as you will probably see in some of my videos, I am quite sarcastic. And I'm German, surprise. And I am not an engineer yet. But that's hopefully the way to come. That's why I'm going to school, and that's why I'm hopefully going to university in a few years. But until then, I've got my workshop and I've got my fun, and I will show you some stuff that I make. One other reason why I'm making this channel is to give myself some soft skills. So some project might involve electronics, some other project might involve programming. And of course, with all these videos, I will learn some video editing. Another question could be, why is this in English? Again, why not? For me, it's also another soft skill to learn some English, to speak some English in my daily life. And also, I am hoping that I could maybe receive or give some advice to people around the world, not just in Germany. Well, what kind of projects can you expect from this channel? With my little machine, I'm open for everything. I could try and build whatever you send me, whatever idea I have. A friend of mine wanted to build a cage fight robot. That sounds kind of fun. And I wanted to try and build a little Halo Pelican, an RC drone basically, or maybe a replica of a World War II tank, also an RC vehicle. Now, before I start the room tour, I wanted to tell you that this room was a storage room about a year ago. I've been building this workshop since Christmas, and around the same time I started building my CNC machine. But before I started the actual workshop, I had to take out all the trash, all the stuff that we don't need anymore. And half of the room is still a storage room for camping equipment and stuff for motorbikes and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cramped in there. Before one enters, thou must read what stands on this wall. Well, only the German speakers among you. Well, first, this is the storage part of the room. Like I said, some camping equipment, skis, more camping equipment, and some motorcycle and climbing stuff. Up here I've got a little radio. Underneath is my 3D printer, but that's not really working anymore. I've had some problems with it, and the magnetic print bed is not really useful anymore. It's wobbly. Besides the printer, I've got some tools. Underneath that I've got some storage for my workshop, some cables and resistors and electronics and an Arduino and all that stuff. Over here I've got a little soldering station and some tools, and another storage for cables and metals and all that stuff. Underneath is some equipment for the plasma cutter that I bought. You will see that in a minute. And over here is a little saw, but I don't like to use that because you can't control the RPMs that it's running on. and it's really scary to go into steel with this blade spinning at 2,500 RPM. I don't like that. And down there I've got a little trash bin for the metal. Down here I've got my drill press. That's actually one that my dad made in his apprenticeship about 35 years ago. He had it laying around in the basement all this time, and now I'm using it. And I've got some more storage for aluminium profiles. Down here are some air hoses. They go up to the garage. Right now I'm underneath the garage, and up there is my compressor that's making a lot of noise, so I've just put it up there. Maybe you can see the hole I made into this lid is made with my plasma cutter. The compressed air hose has got a splitter, and one of those hoses goes right over here to my plasma cutter. I've got that from Amazon, and I've also got the torch, which is just for the machine. The manual torch is down here. It has got a button, but I can't control the machine with a button, so I've had to come up with something else. Over here on the wall I've got some tools and some paperwork, some oil, some pens, some screws and more tools and some more screws and some drill bits and tabs and some tape and some rags. And over here I've got my computer. That's the one that's controlling the machine. That's right behind me right now. There's not much space here. And in this computer case I've got the actual electronics for the machine. It's not on right now. There's a power supply, the stepper motor drivers, and the R&R Mark III USB card. And some resistors to protect the motors. A lot of cables. And it's difficult to get out. And this is the actual machine. I've spent 9 months building this, and back then this whole room was empty, and now I've got a shiny little workshop. As you can see, the whole machine stands on a table made out of square pipes. I've just bolted them together, and after I've had some worries that the legs might fall away or crack, I've added these bars just recently. This gave the machine a lot of stability compared to before. I can wiggle around, it's not moving. It weighs probably like 300 kilos, just the table. On top of the table I've got a metal sheet which I have bent to a pan with some sealed edges, and of course a drain. And I will need this because the plasma cutter has a fire length of about, I don't know, 4 centimeters. So I've got some worries that the pan itself will not catch fire, but could melt away. So I have to fill it up with water. This is just a little puddle. Later on I will add a lot of water so it stands to about here. Ich habe jetzt das Blech hochgewogen und die Ecken abgedichtet. Die halten auch. Das Wasser bleibt drin. Mein komisch gedrehter Abfluss hängt da an. Und da läuft es jetzt ganz gemütlich raus. Und sich eine schöne Röstbrei. On top of the pan I've got this grid or grating, I don't know what it's called in English actually. I've got this from not the junkyard, but I found some at at the place where I had my apprenticeship, and they were throwing it away anyway, so I asked if I could have it, and I got it. So because these things are quite expensive, to fill up this whole area it would have cost about 400 euros, and these were for free. The actual machine is made out of aluminum profiles. It runs on guides. It's moving by some belts and these motors. In the datasheet for these motors, it said that they have a maximum torque output of 3 Newton meters. At a radius of about 15 millimeters, that equates to roughly 200 newtons of pulling force or moving force. But I doubt that. I was able to stop the whole machine with my hand. I think it's more like 50 or maybe 80 newtons. Well, now that I've shown enough of my machine, I think it's time to test it out. As you can see, I've already made some test cuts to see how fast I need to move the machine. But I didn't really make any useful or actual cuts. For that I've prepared a little DXF file and a G-code file, and I will try out the very first actual cut with my machine, and I will capture it on video. To start up the machine, I don't have any switches or something like that. I just have some wall plugs. The first was for the plasma cutter, the second is for the machine. Looks just like a gaming PC, it's just missing RGB lighting. So, I have just set up the machine. I've adjusted the ampage and the pressure and the hoses. I have set a new 0 point, and I'm now starting the camera. And for me it's always safety first, so I'm putting on some UV glasses. Don't joke around with that. I already had some sunburns from welding. And I will also hold the emergency stop button. And go. You can hear the compressor upstairs. I will really need a lot of water. Those sparks are dangerous. It worked! Eureka! Well, the metal is still very warm. I had to get it out there with some pliers. But yes, my CNC machine is working. And I think, yeah, of course, typical for plasma cutters, there's a rough edge, but I can grind that away. Around here I've messed up the exit point, but apart from that it is perfect. What do you think? What could I make? That's it for me today. Goodbye.
you.